I'm having some friends over and I want to give each of my friends something to take home with them when they leave. So I'm making little pots of violets. So I'm going to show you how to make these little pots of violets, and then I'm going to show you how to arrange them into a bouquet. So to get started, you will want to find a little clay pot. This is a 3-inch clay pot, and it has a hole at the bottom, and that's going to be important that your container has a hole when we go to assemble it into a bouquet. So to get started here, we're just going to cut a little bit of foam. And that's going to go at the bottom of our container, and then just push it down. Now you'll want to make sure that this foam does not move around. Once again, that will come in that will be very important when we go to assemble the bouquet. So take my glue gun here and put some glue around the sides here to anchor that foam in there. Okay, and now take your ribbon. You're going to need, depending on the size pot that you're going to be using, you will need a little bit over 1 yard of ribbon per every little pot of violets here. So take a skewer and stick the ribbon down in there. And now just keep turning the ribbon and twisting it. Get this out of the way here. And just stick it in. And you just keep going around the side of the pot, sticking it in where you need it. And then once you have your ribbon in here, just kind of take the skewer and manipulate the ribbon into the position that you want it to be in. Okay, so that's our little grouping of ribbon leaves here, and now we're ready to decorate it. Okay, now for the fun part, adding the flowers. Okay, so to do that, we'll roll out our fondant first. First, put down a layer of cornstarch. Once again, please do not substitute powdered sugar or it will just make this fondant gummy. Okay. You find you get little indentations in your fondant when you're rolling it out, just wipe your rolling pin off with your hand and then start again and they'll smooth out. Okay, so now the cutter that I'm using is just this little plunger. It's pretty slick because you push down on the handle and it just pushes the cutout right out, so it goes pretty quickly. You can either do these one at a time as you're adding them onto the cupcake, or you can do them all at the same time. I'm just going to do them all at the same time. It goes faster that way. Okay, I'm going to mention too, when it comes to cleaning this, what you want to do is probably do this over a plate until you realize how many little parts are going to come out of this when you open this up. But just to clean it, you'll want to take it apart, pull the handle off here. That's one part, one piece. There's a spring in here. You don't want to lose that. Lay that right there, and then this little part will come out. Then you have the cutter part here. And after you wash it and let it dry, to put it back together, you just do the opposite of the way it came apart. Put that in there. Slide the spring back on there. This goes on that little knob there, and then stick the handle back on there. That's all there is to washing it, and then it works again. So, okay. So now we want to put a layer of frosting on top of our cupcake, and I'm going to use chocolate frosting on my chocolate cupcake here. And it goes best if you use a bag to do this. You could try to use a knife, but trying to use a knife and spread it sometimes moves the cupcake around, and then it makes your leaves come out, and then it's just a lot easier using a decorator's bag here. So I'm just going to pipe around the edge of my cupcake here. Not only does this add flavor, it helps the fondant petals stick to the cupcake. Okay, and now just going to start adding the petals. I start adding them around the edge, and when you're adding these, you can kind of brush a little of that cornstarch off if you got a little heavy-handed like I did here. Okay, if you're having a hard time to getting your fondant petals to stick, with the cornstarch, sometimes it can be just a little bit on the drier side. So I'm going to take a little bit of water here and then touch the last petal that I added here. And that will make the next one stick a little easier. Okay, my outside layer of petals have been added now, and you can see there's some cornstarch on here on the ribbon. So just take a soft bristled brush. It can be the same brush that you've been using to add a little bit of water to the petals here, and just blot it on the towel and brush off that cornstarch. You can wait to do this at the very end too, but I'm just going to do a little of it right now. Okay, now to get that next layer of petals around here, just moisten the tops of all of these petals, and then it'll go a lot easier and quicker for you. Okay, that should be all of our petals. Now we want to brush off all that excess cornstarch on the petals, so just take a damp brush here. If you've gotten a little heavy-handed with the water, just blot your brush and then just keep brushing on the petals until it loses that real wet, glossy look.